Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I've got some more tournament games for you. But it's a very special weekend, ladies and gentlemen. This was the weekend when the new Pokémon trading card game set BREAKPoint was legal for the very first time. So I got myself down to Mad for Miniatures in St Austell in the most beautiful part of the UK, that being Cornwall, and I recorded a whole bunch of games from a city championship. The format here is X and Y to BREAKPoint. It is standard format, but BREAKPoint is now legal. We are playing best of 3. We are playing 50 minutes, and I've made sure to get some decks in here that are using cards from the new set so we can see how good they are and we can start making an assessment of how much of an impact they're going to make. Huge thank you to Vinnie Gardner and all at Mad for Miniatures for allowing me to record and making it very simple. So sit back, grab yourselves a nice beverage, and enjoy this game from the first weekend when BREAKPoint was legal. 50 minutes, best of 3, X and Y to BREAKPoint. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we've got a little treat for you on round 3. I know that rounds 1 and 2 didn't have that many new BREAKPoint cards in, so I thought I would fix that this round. I've got your back, ladies and gentlemen. In this round, Jess on the right is going to be playing a Mega Scizor deck. Now, Sheldon on the left, he is going to be playing Lucario bats, if I remember correctly. Some kind of bats, we'll see in a minute. I believe it's Lucario bats. And like I say, Jess is going to be playing Scizor and Mega Scizor. So if you were worried in the previous couple of rounds about a lack of BREAKPoint centric cards, don't lean in front of the camera. That's going to make it try and focus on your arm. If you're worried about the lack of BREAKPoint cards in round 1 and 2, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we've got you covered. There we see a strong energy, so it is Lucario bats. And let's not forget, I haven't told you yet, but I promise you that next round there is a Garchomp deck as well. So this round and next round, we've got you covered for BREAKPoint. So Sheldon there starts a lone Shaman. That's not ideal, but he does get I believe it's a Zubat on the bench there from a level ball, and he attaches an energy to the Shaman. Now he's got two options here. Option number 1, he uses that single energy to just retreat the Shaman, or given the deck that Jess is going to be playing, there's every possibility. I mean, depending on what she's playing, it's going to be difficult for her to KO that Shaman next turn. So Sheldon may wish to just go ahead and leave the Shaman in the active, attach another fighting next turn, and Sky Return. Although, to be honest, 30 damage turn 2, he's probably going to want to be attacking with that Lucario sooner rather than later. So we see a Corinna coming down from Sheldon. That's going to allow him to search his deck for a fighting Pokemon and an item card. And it looks like he's gone for a Hawlucha. Not a bad idea, given that he's playing an EX-heavy deck, and Hawlucha can only attack EXs, but does so very efficiently. And a level ball, and I would be stunned if he got anything that wasn't a Zubat here. And before I've even finished my sentence, down comes the Zubat. As we saw in the previous round with Chris, and in many games, these Manectric and Lucario bats decks have been big for a little while. There's been plenty of games along those lines on my channel, so go and check them out, ladies and gentlemen. And it really is important to get these bats down as soon as possible. You want to be doing 2 free gold bats on turn 2. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that tool is that Sheldon's put on. I'm hoping it's a Focus Sash, but I'm not 100% convinced. He's not giving us much to go on. So Jess has got a Bronzor in the active. She's obviously going to evolve that into a Bronzong, because Bronzong allows you to attach a metal energy from your discard to one of your Pokemon. And with that in mind, she drops a Battle Compressor straight away, allows you to discard 3 cards from your deck, and she gets rid of 2 metal energy. May also get rid of a supporter, there we go, a Lysander, and this makes sense, as I say on most of my videos, because it's an incredibly common play nowadays. You've got that VS Seeker item card that allows you to take any supporter from your discard and put it in your hand. So if you can get a bunch of supporters in the discard early, it actually allows you to draw a VS Seeker and use that to pick whichever supporter you like out of your discard pile. And we see a Professor Birch. So Jess is going to shuffle her hand into her deck. She's going to flip a coin. If heads, she draws 7 cards. This is good. If tails, she draws 4 cards. This is bad. And I think we saw a glimpse of that focus sash there. I'm trying to pay attention. I believe that is a focus sash on the Hawlucha. Which, of course, means Hawlucha cannot be one-hit KO'd. If it would be one-hit KO'd, the HP of Hawlucha goes down to 10 and the focus sash gets discarded. Which can actually be pretty funky, and it's tails. That's not a great start. It can be pretty good because if you hit that, this could be, she's got a basic. So she's got a basic, so she's not going to lose next turn. When the focus sash gets discarded, it means you can put something like a muscle band on to try and do more damage. So Jess draws 4 cards, which is not ideal. She gets a second Bronzor. She can't play a Lysander. She's already played a Professor Birch. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to pay attention here. She just played 2 supporters in 1 turn. The reason why she's got such a small hand is because she played a Professor's Birch. Now, hot on the heels of the last game with the camera up shenanigans, people need to pay more attention. We're going to get a bad reputation, ladies and gentlemen, if this keeps... and they've realised. Okay, good. I was going to say, they're going to get us a bad reputation at this stage. Good news is, it was caught nice and early, and it's very easily switched. You put the Lysander back in Jess's hand, you put the other Shaman in the active, and this really helps Sheldon here. Now, he's got that Lucario, which hits 30 damage for a single energy, so if he gets either a strong energy or a muscle band, he's got the KO on that Bronzor. He is going one prize up. And we've just rewinded the whole thing there, so... yeah, Sheldon essentially is starting his turn again from scratch. We took back the Golbat as well. Just retreat everything. Just get everything back so we can start the turn again nicely. Only to do the exact same thing. I'm willing to bet a Judge turned up out of shot, ladies and gentlemen. So, Sheldon drops his Golbat. He does 20 damage to that Bronzor. He's not going to be getting a... He can't get... Oh, that was not a good turn from Sheldon. Now we see the Lysander. And what Jess is trying to do here is just stall for a turn. And she uses Bronzor to attack for 10 damage. This is not... and we see now this turn, Sheldon could get the win. He drops a Crobat, uses that ability to drop 30 damage after using the Golbat's ability the previous turn to drop 20. All he needs is an energy muscle band or a strong energy and a way to get the Shaman out of the active, of course. If he does that, he can KO the Bronzor and he can get the win. So I told you that we were going to be looking at a Scizor deck, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is how it works when you record or stream games for the Pokemon trading card game. Or in fact, for any game, anywhere, ever, under any circumstances. We can only show you the games until we go into the future and we have cameras that allow us to record every game simultaneously and pick the best one. We are going to have situations where some games are going to be better than others. Now, I haven't watched this game back yet. I know it goes on for a fair while longer than this, so it should get good at some point. But the reality is, sometimes we get games like we see here where very little happens. Sheldon's got a bit of a setup, but not much. The only attack we've seen this game, ladies and gentlemen, the only attack after both players have had 2 turns each was Bronzor hitting a Shaman for 10 damage. That is the only attack we've seen in 4 combined turns. 3, I suppose, because you can't really count Sheldon's first turn. You're not allowed to attack on the first turn of the game. But even so, we're waiting for it to heat up. I want to show you this Scizor deck, and I deliberately... and we Corinna for a Super Scoop Up. Can he get ahead and get the Shaman out of the active? I don't know. Yes. And, of course, that means he can use that Shaman to draw more cards later. Now, that was actually a really clever little play from Sheldon. Clearly, he wants to be attacking with the Lucario, but he doesn't have what he needs yet. Crobat's got 130 HP and is not easily KO'd, and he has free retreat. So he puts the Crobat active. If he gets what he needs, he's got free retreat. If he doesn't, and he didn't, Then he gets to leave the Crobat in the active. It's going to be difficult for Jess to KO that Crobat this turn. And even if she does, she's only getting one prize. And that Crobat really is used for the ability. And it's already been used for the ability. So a nice little heads up play from Sheldon there when he hits the Super Scoop up to pick up the... to put the Crobat active rather than the Lucario. And these are the little plays which make a difference. Now, we saw Jess use a Trainer's Mail there. Lets her look at the top 4 cards of her deck, find any trainer card and put it in her hand. It doesn't look like she got anything. And again, we see Bronzor attacking for 10 damage. I don't think Jess is going to win if she's 13 hit KOing a Crobat using a Bronzor. Again, Sheldon just needs a strong energy here for the win, or a regular energy and a muscle band, but Sheldon appears to be drawing almost as poorly as Jess is here. He is not getting very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the good news is he's got time. He's clearly in a better position. He's not under any kind of pressure at this stage. He can take his time. But sooner or later, Jess is going to get going. Jess is going to have some stuff. And when Jess gets the stuff, then she's going to be putting on the pressure. So we do see a Golbat here doing 20 damage. Now, he cannot get the KO with the Crobat here without a Muscle Band, because Bronzor resists Psychic. So even though Crobat can do 30 damage and get a KO on most things with 50 HP at this stage, he cannot do that here. Oh, and he doesn't even have the energy. Now we see an Edge-a-Slash coming down. Now we might finally be getting some stuff going. And we see the retreat of the Bronzor for the Edge-a-Slash. And Edge-a-Slash has a fun little ability which allows you to... it's not amazing by any stretch of the imagination in this game, but it basically blocks attacks from Pokemon with special energy attached. Now, Sheldon doesn't need special energy. He doesn't have this deck which revolves around special energy. But he does have a deck that really likes using strong energy. So that could limit his options a little bit in later turns. Now, Jess, we see a second Trainer's Mail there, and then she gets a VS Seeker. Now, I believe it's a choice between Lysander and Professor Birch, and clearly here she's going to be going for Professor Birch. And she is going to be really hoping she flips her heads. It was really that Tails on Professor Birch, there we go, earlier in the game that caused so many problems. Because I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but you clicked on this video, I'm assuming, hoping to see a good game, some fun new cards, and I want to see Scizor. In fact, when I found out there was a Scizor in the tournament, I just always do see a head, so she's getting 7 cards here. When I found out there was a Scizor in the tournament, I decided fairly quickly that we are going to have that on the stream. So, show me some Scizor. And we've seen a couple of max potions in her deck as well. Now, we do know she already had an Ultra Ball before she hit that Ultra Ball off a Trainer's Mail. She seemed to get a handful of supporters. I think there was a Birch, there was an AZ, there was a couple of VS Seeker. So she's going to play one of the Ultra Balls here. And she's going to presumably go for a Scizor, although I don't know that I saw any energy in her hand. So let's have a quick chat about Scizor. It's got 2 attacks. Steel Wing for 1 metal energy, does 20 damage, and then the next turn, any damage done to Scizor is reduced by 20. There he goes. Unless it goes to the bench, as we learned in our previous video, the round 2 video, that does not have an effect. Or the effect goes away, I should say, if you retreat to the bench. The second attack does 50 damage for 2 metal energy. However, if it goes from the bench to the active, it then does 110. Now, we saw the second Ultra Ball that Jess got there from the Trainer's Mail. She's using that to get a Shaman. Now, it's a fair bit to ask for, but if she can get an energy and a Bronzong and a way to get the Edge-a-Slash out the active, she can do that attack for 110 here, which is pretty funky. We see another Bronzor down there. Do we have a Bronzong? We have an energy. Do we have a Bronzong? Doesn't look like it. And of course, she doesn't want to put the Scizor active. The thing about Scizor... Oh, that's not very nice, Sheldon. There is a head ringer and a heads on super scoop up for the second time out of 2. And he's going to use that to pick up the Shaman, so he's got the energy. And it is a Focus Slash. We now have confirmation. You don't want the Scizor. You want the Scizor kind of coming active to do 110, not sitting active doing 50 for 2. Or you want to use Mega Scizor that does 120 for 2 energy, and you have a choice of either discarding a special energy attached to your opponent's active or discarding a stadium card which is in play. They're your 2 options. You don't have to do either of them, but they are the 2 options you have from Mega Scizor. Now, we saw a nice little play from Sheldon there. He picked up the Shaman with the energy, and he's using that to draw more cards, but he did that so that he could take the basic fighting and put it onto Shaman. Now, we do see a Crobat coming down here, doing 30 damage or dropping 3 damage counters and KOing the Bronzor, and now we see the Hawlucha coming up doing 60 damage. But that Focus Sash is going to be really big, because now, if the Scizor comes active, it's not going to get the one-hit KO on Hawlucha. It could come active and do 110 damage, except it would, in essence, do 60 damage, putting Hawlucha on 10 remaining. Those Focus Sashes do feel a little bit like cheating. And because there's a Fighting Stadium in play, we saw 80 damage there. Although annoyingly, what you would usually do in Sheldon's position is do 80 with the Hawlucha and then try and do 100 next turn with a strong energy and a Fighting Stadium out. But of course, if Sheldon puts a strong energy on the Hawlucha, he's then not going to be able to attack the Aegislash because of the ability. And we know that Jess plays Max Potion here, so if she can draw into one of those Max Potion, she's going to be able to just play that Max Potion and heal that damage off. It will be as if Sheldon never attacked. But that Focus Sash is going to be big. Now, we finally see a Bronzong coming out, so Jess can attach an energy from the discard using the ability to the Scizor, but she can still only do the first attack. And even if she does the second attack, she will not get the one-hit KO, and that is unfortunate. Now, what would be kind of fun here is, well, and actually it looks, oh no, we got VS Seeker for a Birch here. I don't know if she's playing Sycamore, but she would want really Sycamore at some of these stages. Play a Sycamore so you can just discard your hand and draw 7. It sometimes, and that looked like a Tails, was it? Yeah, it was a tail, so she only gets to draw 4. I know and a Skyfield comes down here to get rid of the Fighting Stadium. That's pretty cool. I know sometimes that, you have to discard stuff you'd rather not with Sycamore. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, with Sycamore, it's just so consistent. It really helps you draw through your deck in a very efficient, very speedy manner. And yeah, you end up discarding stuff you'd rather not discard, and that can be a downside. But sometimes the speed it gives you and allows you to set up really is worth it. So we see a Super Rod coming down here, allowing Jess to get an energy and a Bronzor back, and then a Level Ball to get the Bronzor straight back on her bench. Does mean she's got no Metal Energy in her discard now, so she's not going to be able to use that Bronzor next turn without putting another energy into her discard pile. And that KO on the Bronzor was actually pretty huge, because now, had she had another Bronzong, she could have used it to get 2 energy on the Scizor, whereas now she's only used it to get 1. And that Headringer means it needs 3 really to do the good attack. And the other thing that Headringer does, of course, means that there's no Spirit Link on the Scizor. Spirit Link being the item, and a Hex Maniac coming down, which means that now that Aegislash's ability goes away, strong energy goes on the on the Lucario, and does 90 damage. Excuse me. Yes, 90 damage. So the Aegislash goes away, and that is one of the downsides nowadays with any ability. That Hex Maniac supporter comes down, takes away all abilities in play, and then things like the Aegislash go down a little bit early. So now the Scizor can do, Oh, and she doesn't have another energy here. So it can't even do 110. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the beginning of the end here. Edge Slash, by the way, has 170 HP, so that 90 last turn did it. And it's going to be 100 damage here, 60 for the second attack. Well, 80. 60 for the second attack, plus 20 for the strong energy, plus... Oh, there must have been a Lysander played there. So we see 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120. Which means it only does 100 here. So the second attack here, and I think they're discussing whether Scizor does 20, means 20 less, but it's only to the Scizor. And... was that 20 damage on the Shaman? Either way, we have the win there. So Lucario comes up, Lucario gets a KO on the Shaman, and that is game one. And you got to feel a little sorry for Jess in that game. She never really got the chance to do very much. By the time she got her Scizor out, we saw she had Spirit Links in her hand almost every turn, until the one turn she really needed it. And we really did get down to the stage there where it was very unfortunate, but by the time Jess actually was in a position to start attacking, Sheldon had the Spirit Link on her Scizor, and he just had more of a setup. Now, Sheldon didn't get the world's best setup in that game, and Jess gets to go first in this game, so hopefully she'll get a couple of Bronzongs out, and we can really start seeing this Scizor deck in action. Like I say, Mega Scizor does 120 damage and allows you to discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon or a Stadium in play, which gives a little bit of disruption and a nice solid 2-hit KO on anything. Although the would-be one-hit KO on Hawlucha can really be disadvantaged here by those Focus Sashes that Sheldon plays. That can be a downside. I mean, you've got to think that Sheldon is in a driver's seat here. The strong energy is a bit of a pain because Jess can get rid of it with Mega Scizor and she can block it with Edge Slash. But he's just hitting so... both of these Bats decks, Manectric Bats and Lucario Bats, it's all about picking away at your opponent. Evolving a Golbat lets you drop 2 damage counters. Evolving a Crobat lets you drop 3 damage counters. Then you've got Lucario who does 30 damage for 1, but then you can add Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium, Strong Energy, and the damage really starts adding up. Oh, now this is good news for Jess. She's going first and Sheldon has mulliganed. He has no... Oh, there we go. Never mind. They've both mulliganed. Neither of them have a basic in their opening hand. And the rule is, of course, that if one player doesn't have a basic and the other player does, then the player who does gets to draw an extra card. So the player who didn't have a basic gets to try again, but as a bit of a punishment, your opponent gets to draw an extra card. But if you both mulligan, nobody gets an extra card. Now, I should at this stage say a huge thank you to Mad for Miniatures in St Austell in the UK, in Cornwall, and I still contend the prettiest and loveliest part of the UK, and to Vinnie Gardner, the proprietor of said establishment. They made us feel very welcome, they let us record, they made it very easy indeed, and quite frankly, it's entirely due to their cooperation and how lovely they were that I'm able to sit here and commentate these games and show them to you lovely folks. So, presumably Jess is going to go first, and we have a Shaman against a Hawlucha. That is not a great start, ladies and gentlemen. That is not what you want. Now, especially as Hawlucha can one-hit KO Shaman. If Sheldon goes Strong Energy, Muscle Band, Fighting Stadium, he'll go 2 prizes up on the first turn of the game. However, a better start for Jess here. She's got the Scizor EX. She's got what I can only assume is a Spirit Link. She's got an energy. Does she have a supporter? A supporter here would be a lovely opening, other than, of course, the Shaman. Now, we do see a Battle Compressor coming down. It's going to allow her to discard 3 cards from her deck, which means if she's got a VS Seeker in... Oh, and there's a Sycamore. And it looks like she's got a Sycamore in hand, VS Seeker in hand. So she can use that VS Seeker to grab the Sycamore she's just discarded and get a fresh hand of 7 cards. This is a really good start from Jess here. She's got the Scizor, the Spirit Link, the Energy, the Battle Compressor. It's a shame the Shaman's in the active, and like I say, that could give Sheldon 2 prizes on turn 1. KOing Shaman with Hawlucha is one of my favourite tricks. Oh, she didn't have a supporter. That's not great. Now, we see a Corinna there, but Sheldon wisely using a Shaman. He's seen the KO. He knows he can't use... Oh, and there we go with a Headringer. He knows he can't use a Corinna to get either the Stadium or the Strong Energy. Just an item card and a fighting Pokemon. So he's popping a Shaman down here, and then presumably he's going to go and use AZ or Super Scoop Up to pick up the Shaman to draw more cards to try and find that Strong Energy Fighting Stadium combination. Now, I'm a big fan of fighting decks, and in pretty much every fighting deck, Hawlucha is, we see a Heads. So he gets to pick up that Shaman and reuse it before playing the AZ. And Hawlucha is getting pretty close to broken. Free Retreat, can use Focus Sash. Oh, there's a Strong Energy. Can use Focus Sash, can use Strong Energy. It really is. And of course, 60 for 1 energy on a basic is pretty gosh darn good. Now we see the AZ for the Shaman, and Sheldon's drawn a lot of cards at this stage. If he hits that Fighting Stadium, he's got the KO on the Shaman, and all of a sudden, Jess's what looked like a really good start turns into a lack of turn 1 supporter, and she hasn't given up 2 prizes. However, it does mean... Now she needs... I was going to say she's going to need to use an energy to retreat the Shaman that she won't be able to use for the Scizor. Now she uses an AZ, she gets a Shaman at the active, and she draws more cards, and she gets the energy. This I like, ladies and gentlemen. She's got the KO here. Scizor has come into the active. It does 110. There's a Muscle Band, not a... Focus Sash, so she does 110 damage, KOs a Hawlucha, goes up a prize. Now we've got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. This I like a lot more. Of course, 170 HP. Sheldon's got... Now, I don't think he can do it this turn. He could do... No, I think he'd be 20 short. And we see a Sycamore here. He could do... Lucario for 30, plus 20 for Strong Energy is 50, plus 20 for Muscle Band is 70, plus 20 for Fighting Stadium is 90, plus 3 Golbats at 20 each is 60, equals 150. If my maths is correct, ladies and gentlemen, it is... Why is that a 5? I'm confused. Should be a 4, 2 Golbats. Why is that a 5? Or a 6, 3 Golbats. Either way, it definitely shouldn't be a 5. That can't be right. 3 Golbats got dropped, so either it's 6 damage, 20 from each, or 4 damage, but then, no, there's been 3 Golbats dropped is 60 damage. So there should be 90 on that size, or not 80. And we see a Skylar coming down, allows her to search for any trainer card. Presumably, she's going to go for the Mega here, which is not going to make a... she's going to make a bit of a difference. It's going to put up to 220 HP, which gives it 130 remaining, not 140 as it says. Should be on 90 damage. 20 for each Crobat is 60, plus 30 for Lucario's attack is 90. Again, this is what the comment section is made for, ladies and gentlemen. If you think I've miscalculated, chuck it down there in the comments. Laugh at me. If you're watching the video, you can take the mic. As if you're watching it, that makes me happy. I'd like to think you can take the mic and then still enjoy the video as well. Maybe you enjoy it because you're taking the mic. I'm cool with anything, ladies and gentlemen. Just please watch it or I'll be lonely. So... the Scizor should be up at 90 now. She's gone for the Skylar. Has she? Okay, I think she's... I'm assuming she's Ultra Balling an energy in a Super Rod here. She must be going for the Mega. It allows her to do 120 damage, and it allows her to add a whole bunch of HP. Now, I believe Sheldon probably could get the KO next turn. I mean, they've got 80 on there, so if we say it's 140, second attack for Lucario does 60, and then you can add it up to 120 using all kinds of shenanigans, strong energy, muscle man, fighting stadium, and then we've got the whole Crobat drops as well. So I do hope that 10 damage doesn't come back to bite us. So Crobat comes down, puts it up to 110, although it really should be 120. Which means now we need an extra 110. Now, at the moment, Lucario is hitting for 30 and is dying next turn, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I mean, there's a lot of things Jess needs here. Number one, she needs a Scizor to live a turn. And then next turn, she really wants a Scizor, Energy, Bronzong, Spirit Link, so she can get 2 energy on the Scizor and the Spirit Link, ready to go the following turn with another Mega Scizor. She's not getting the setup she really needs here. What she wants here is a Bronzong on the bench, a second Scizor, so that she can use the benched Bronzor. Oh, and now we get another 30 damage, putting it up to 140 officially. And yeah, we've got the KO here, 80 damage. Okay, so now it's not making a difference. He's got the KO anyway. So the good news is that miscalculation of damage on the Golbats, assuming there was one, didn't make any difference at all, which is good by me, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, Sheldon, and it didn't make a difference. It was only 10 damage. I don't believe it made a difference. That strong energy has now had a nice little effect in that the Edge of Slash now blocks it. Of course, we have seen that there is, we've seen that Sheldon plays Hex Maniac, which will turn off Edge of Slash's ability and will allow him to get the KO here. But as it stands at the moment, that Edge of Slash is forming a nice wall. Now, Jess needs an attacker here. Even if she gets a Scizor with 1 energy, it's 20 damage and it blocks 20 damage the following turn. That's not enough, ladies and gentlemen. That isn't going to get the KO. Now, we do get an energy on the Edge of Slash, but it takes 3 energy to attack with an Edge of Slash, so she's not threatening anytime soon. And given that both Scizor and Mega Scizor attack for 1 or 2 metal energy, I can't imagine that Jess is playing double colorless. I don't believe we've seen one yet either. So if she's manually attaching to an Edge of Slash, and remember, Bronzong's ability only attaches energy from the discard to the bench, not to the active, I think we could be in a situation here where, just like in Game 1, Sheldon is going to be establishing a board presence. Now, if we stop for a second to talk about the Scizor, and we see a Corinna coming down for an Ultra Ball and a Hawlucha, I really do think it's just a little bit slow and a little bit underpowered. Clearly, Bronzong it helps in this regard, but only if you can get him out, if you can get the stage 1 out, and that's not been happening this game for Jess. She hasn't been able to get the Bronzongs out. And even when you get the Mega Scizor, 120 damage isn't really enough. So we do see a Crobat. Oh, here's a fun little play from Sheldon. He drops the Crobat to use the ability to put 3 damage counters on the Bronzor. Then he uses Skill Dive from the Crobat to do 30 to any of Jess's Pokemon. He, of course, chooses the Bronzor. That resistance don't do nout when you're on the bench, and that's a prize for Sheldon. But more importantly, it means that Jess can't get a Bronzong out this turn. So I really don't know what she's going to be doing here. Now, she plays a Sycamore, but I think this game is very close to over, ladies and gentlemen. Sheldon's up by 2 prizes, and like we've seen, let's say Jess drops another Bronzor here. Well, if I'm Sheldon, I'm just doing the same trick again. I'm getting a Crobat down to evolve that bench Golbat, and while I'm in the process, I am going to be skill diving that Bronzor as well. So I'm going to be doing the same trick turn after turn. And that's what these Crobat decks do. And if I'm Sheldon, I don't play the Crobat. I leave the Crobat, because I'm assuming he's playing at least one more Crobat. If not, he can still use something like AZ or Super Scoop Up. But I'm not playing it yet. I'm keeping that trick in my back pocket so that if Jess ever puts another Bronzor on the field, I can just go ahead and kill it using Crobats. And while I'm not killing her Bronzor with Crobat, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to take out her Edgeslash, because Sheldon's got 3 prizes left. So if he takes down that Edgeslash and kills a benched Bronzor, he wins the game. So we do see an Ultra Ball coming down here. Don't go for the Crobat. Keep that trick in reserve. Oh, Sheldon, I'm disappointed in you, sir. Unless you need it to get the KO this turn. Honestly, he's in such a good position here. I think that it wouldn't be bad by any stretch. If I were him, I'd keep that Crobat to essentially guarantee that Jess is never playing a Bronzor while I just sit and pick away at the Edgeslash. So here Sheldon is going to hit the Edgeslash. Now, to be fair, ladies and gentlemen, that Crobat put him on 120 HP remaining. Oh, no, it wasn't needed. Because of a Fighting Stadium down, Hawlucha does 81 turn, 8 to the next is 160, add the 20 from the Golbat is 180, which gets the KO. So not only was that Crobat kind of needed to, deal with Bronzors, but that 30 damage, if that Fighting Stadium stays in play, that 30 damage has literally done absolutely nothing. And there's a Focus Sash on, so we ain't going down this turn. So, not a huge fan of that, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm honest with you. Now, the Fighting Stadium does go away, but even if he keeps the Crobat in reserve, let's say he only does 160 in total because he hasn't used the Crobat, and then he doesn't have a Fighting Stadium, we'll drop the Crobat next turn. I don't think he needed to drop the Crobat last turn, put it that way. My interesting little poker fact for this game, I know I've never actually done one, but my interesting fact for this game, does anybody know the French name for Hawlucha? It's much better than the English name. French name for Hawlucha is Brutalibre. A name that is so good, I went and got a regular holo and reverse holo Hawlucha off of French eBay because Brutalibre. Why would you want to use Hawlucha when you could use Brutalibre? The answer is you wouldn't. That would be silly. So Jess has got 5 prizes remaining here. Sheldon has got 3 prizes remaining. That Edgeslash is not long for this game. The Hawlucha that is currently in the active has a Focus Sash attached, so will not be easily KO'd. The Mega Scizor has no energy attached to it. There is no Bronzor on the bench. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I think this game has already gotten away from Jess. Now, I didn't know what this Scizor game was going to be. I hadn't played it. At this round, what we on round 3, I was playing a dark deck in the other room, where I was playing Garchomp. And in fact, I beat the dark deck, and you'll see me playing my Garchomp list in the next round. I don't like putting myself on stream, but there were only 2 3-0s, and I was playing a BREAKPoint centered deck, so, kind of had to. And I'll be as brutal with my misplays as I am with everybody else's. Don't you worry your pretty little heads about it. But I think this game has gotten away from Jess. But we've still got to have a chat about Scizor. We've looked at the card, we've looked at the deck, we've had a chat about it, so I hope you don't think, and so we had the Fighting Stadium. So, I'm sorry, Sheldon, if you're watching this back, because I believe you will be. That Crobat drop, complete waste. Sorry. Because you did 160 with Hawlucha, while you dropped 20 with Golbat, and that was enough. And now, if Jess goes and drops actually, to be fair, if she does drop a Bronzor, you can go Golbat damage and then skill dive it. But even so, I don't consider it to have been the optimum play. But please don't hate me, Sheldon. I still think you're a lovely chap. I've enjoyed getting to know you the last few weeks. It's been fun. Don't hate me. I just think that wasn't the optimal play. We can still be friends. So we see a Floatstone coming down on the Shaman, but I don't know what we're really going to see here. If the Scizor goes active, it's not going to have enough energy to attack. Mega Scizor has only 1 attack, the 2 energy for 120, discard a Stadium or Special Energy. and it's got no energy attached to it. And like I've said, you can get around that using Bronzor's ability to attach energy from your discard to your bench Pokemon, but that unfortunately has not happened here. There is no Bronzor, which means there can be no Bronzong. Right, now Sheldon, don't you wish you had that Crobat in hand? If you had the Crobat in hand, guaranteed win next turn. You've already got a Crobat ready to skill dive. Jess has played a Sycamore, so she can't play a Hexmania. Okay, fine. You've got the Golbat, so you get the win anyway. So the Golbat comes down, places 2 damage counters. Just place the 2 damage counters on the Bronzor, and then skill dive it with the Crobat, and let's get out of here. At this stage, I should say a massive thank you to Sheldon and to Jess for agreeing to be on stream. As I've said, everyone here agreed to be on stream, and I really, really appreciated it. It means I get to watch these games back and commentate, you get to watch them and hopefully enjoy them. It really does make my life an awful lot easier. Yeah, you totally could have won that turn, Sheldon. Place the 2 damage counters on Bronzor and skill dive. Doesn't really make a difference. Or does it? Oh, I don't know. Jess is getting another prize here, because now she can use Bronzor's ability, and if she's got an energy in hand, she can attack with Mega Scizor to get the KO and elongate this game a little bit. You had the win, Sheldon. I don't think it's really going to matter. That Shaman's got 10 HP left, so a Crobat drop or a skill dive will KO that Shaman for the win next turn anyway. I think he's only got 1 prize remaining. I could be wrong. Maybe he has got 2 prizes left, in which case he didn't have the win. I'm going to be honest, I assumed he had 1 prize left. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, also, like I said, huge thank you to Vinny Gardner and all at Mad for Miniatures, and of course you lovely people for watching it. Are we still going? Retreat into the Crobat and skill dive the Shaman. Okay, we had the Crobat come down and bite the Shaman. So, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, you enjoyed that game. Hopefully, you enjoyed looking at Scizor and having a bit of a chat. I'm going to be back, and we're doing basically a video a day at the moment, because quite frankly, I've got too many to upload. And tomorrow, we are going to be seeing Mewtwo against Garchomp. In my opinion, a superior Breakpoint deck. And that isn't a bad game, and I know that because I was in that game. I don't like putting myself on stream, but it happened. So enjoy yourselves till then, ladies and gentlemen. Look after yourselves till tomorrow. Make sure you like this and beyond tomorrow. Don't just look after yourselves till tomorrow. Make sure you continue to watch my videos because, you know, why would you not want to? And make sure you click the like button. You could have clicked it by now. And again, clicked it? Good. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Find someone else to subscribe if you have, ladies and gentlemen. And then make sure that you come back tomorrow and watch the new video. Watch my Garchomp list in action. It's gonna be fun. Thank you very much for watching. Look after yourselves till next time and beyond. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.